All right, my beautiful people, thanks so much for tuning in to today's show. We're going to be going over the Miami behavior therapist shooting. This is ERGJ, your conspiracy brother, with ERGJ TV. And so I've been really looking into this story, and I figured I would go over it today. There was a shooting that happened, it looks like on the 18th, based on the footage, and then it started hitting mainstream on the 21st. We always start here by we're really looking at, understanding that propaganda is something that's legal. As ever since 2012, there's a bill that passed, a law that passed that allows for the U.S. government to lie to us legally by using propaganda. The U.S. government is unbound to legal regulations against using propaganda against foreign audiences and American citizens. The intention is to sway public opinion by using television, radio, newspapers, and social media, targeting the American informed people in controlled Psy-Op. So sway public opinion using media to in controlled Psy-Ops. Controlled Psy-Ops. That means a staged, scripted. Think Hollywood. Psy-Ops, psychological operations. They want to mess with our mind. They want to put things in place to mess with our minds. And this is something that took place. This law got passed in 2012 through the newest version of the National Defense Authorization Act. You can look that up. So let's get into this shooting here. Again, looks like it took place on July 18th, 2016. And what we see here in the video is we see an autistic man that's sitting up and a black man that's laying down. One thing I want to draw your attention to is one thing I try to help people understand is that in this video, and I'll just play it. I'm gonna stop it at a particular point, so you can, and I'm gonna keep it there for a minute while we go through this. He's got some rifles supposedly pointing at him. I guess they're, look at this footage here. Where are they? Are they underneath some tree or something? I mean, over where he's at is very bright, but it looks like they're cornered off under a whole bunch of trees and some cover. It's a very interesting spot. At him. Got a rifle pointing at. Look, you see the difference in the footage?
Tries to tell them he's a therapist, just trying to help a
So he's got the autistic man that's sitting up. You probably can't see all of this. I'm going to move it on forward because I want to get to this one point. Charles Kinsey. Now, right here is like the end of the footage before.
The moments before.
So 27-28. You see how it flipped? That's 28 seconds. And this is 27 seconds. Let's keep it right there. All right, so let's go through the story, guys. Go through the story, and we'll come back to the footage. This cell phone footage. Now, what you'll notice is this footage, immediately, it seems like the best footage never gets taken. So the footage of when he actually got shot, we don't get that on camera. So how interesting, it goes from 27 seconds to 28 seconds, but the footage cuts off and then it picks it up when he is
moments before
when he is already supposedly shot and handcuffed. So this leaves a lot of things up to interpretation. We'll say, oh, he got shot, or oh, I saw him get shot, but in reality, you didn't see him get shot. What you did was it gave us a picture, and we filled the rest of the picture in with our minds. Okay, what could have happened? And that's what you see typically in all of these different videos. You can go back and look at the Austin Sterling case. You can look at Philando Castile. You'll never actually see the shooting take place, but we'll rationalize with our mind what should or what could have happened during that time. So let's actually go through the story. A video that shows an unarmed African-American man lying in the street with his arms in the air doesn't tell the whole story of what happened when Miami police shot him earlier this week, a union official said. So here's a highlight. Charles Kinsey boss said he saved the life of the disabled individual. Police union say officer misfired and accidentally struck Kinsey. And a behavior therapist, Kinsey, was helping patient with autism. Let's go back here on the video to 27 seconds, and I'll keep it there. 26, 27, that's fine. I'll come back to it in just a second. Now, officer accidentally shot behavior therapist Charles Kinsey, according to John Rivera, president of the Dade County Police Benevolent Association. The officer, Rivera, said he'd been aiming for the patient beside Kinsey, whom he thought posed a danger. Now, interestingly enough, we have an officer who who is trained to shoot, who is aiming at the man that's sitting up, and some kind of way he hits the man that's laying down. He missed 2 or 3 shots, and we'll get to that in a second, of the man that's sitting up, a trained officer, the one who's trained to shoot his target, and some kind of way he hit this man in his leg while he's laying down. Just think about that for a second. The man you're trying to hit, supposedly, is sitting up. And the man you're not trying to hit is laying down, but some kind of way you miss badly enough. You miss badly enough the man that's sitting up and hit the man that's laying down, and you hit him in his leg on his right leg, supposedly. All right. But to Kenzie's boss, that explanation doesn't add up. It really doesn't. They're telling us right here, this explanation doesn't add up, and I think we can agree that this explanation doesn't add up. Very, very bizarre, phony story. So the union is now trying to say they intended to shoot my client and instead of shoot my employee. I would have said New Day on Friday. To me, that's just outrageous. So they're trying to shoot this guy right here, but some kind of way they hit this guy who's got his hands up. Supposedly, that's the story. So Monday shootings have sparked protests. Again, we start to get protests again. This is moving forth the agenda of divide and conquer. Continue to say that. Moving forth the agenda of the civilians against authorities, against the boys in blue, or Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter. A state investigation and question over whether race played a role in officers' response. There's another side of the story that hasn't got much attention. Kenzie is a highly trained behavior therapist who rushed into the street to protect a patient, his boss told New Day. Mr. Kenzie is a hero today. He saved the life of that disabled individual, said Bauer, who runs the Center for Developmentally Disabled, where Kenzie has worked for more than a year. This individual he was caring for is a person with significant behavioral issues, and Charles was specifically chosen to work with this individual as his one-on-one staff because he is that much of a skilled employee, Bauer told CNN. He has received extensive crisis intervention training. Unfortunately, our police department doesn't seem to have received the same training. So video shows a tense scene. Kenzie is hospitalized with a gunshot wound to his right leg after 2 or 3 shots were fired. So he's supposed to have a wound here on his right leg. And I'm going to show you guys something in just a second. Cell phone video released by attorney Hilton Napoleon II and recorded by a bystander shows the scene before the shooting. A man sits cross-legged on the ground holding an object in his hand. Kenzie lies on the street, holds his hands in the air, and yells to police that the man beside him is holding a toy truck, not a weapon. The video doesn't show what happened when the officer opened fire. I just said that. Video doesn't show what happened. Some kind of way that we got a bystander that's filming, but as soon as it's time for action, and when it's the main scene, it gets cut off. And this happens very often when we get into these cases. The money shot is never taken. So Kenzie told CNN affiliate in Miami that after the shooting, he was flipped over and handcuffed. Another video released by his attorney shows Kenzie lying in the road on his stomach and handcuffed. Both men are flat on the ground with 2 officers standing near them. According to Napoleon, Kenzie was on the ground for 20 minutes before the ambulance arrived. So this man is shot in the leg, and he's laying on the ground 20 minutes. So he's losing a lot of blood, supposedly. We didn't see any blood in the videos, but that's okay. We don't need that to determine, the stance of this particular story here. So Rivera told the police union chief offered an explanation for the shooting Thursday. The police officer opened fire because he thought the other man, whom authorities later learned had autism, was going to harm Kenzie. This wasn't a mistake in the sense that the officer shot the wrong guy or he thought that Kenzie was the bad guy. The movement of the white individual made it look like he was going to discharge a firearm into Mr. Kenzie, and the officer discharged, trying to strike and stop the white man, and unfortunately he missed the white male and shot Mr. Kenzie by accident. So you mean to tell me a trained officer goes to the shooting range every week, can miss a guy that's sitting straight up so badly that he hits this guy in his right leg somewhere? Give me a break, guys. Now, he could have been hit, but that is very, very suspect. Very, very suspect. All right. Rivera said that the video footage was being portrayed poorly. Video of the shooting itself hasn't surfaced, Napoleon said. He said that union's comments are attempts to try to put a story together in an attempt to justify it. This was a man who was at work, who was caring for another individual on the ground. He is still concerned. If you listen to the video about his client, he still ends up getting shot. So he said, I just don't understand, just like the rest of America, how someone could possibly try to justify this. All right, so the officer, I did what I had to do. Authorities haven't released the name of the officer who opened fire. In fact, in a fact sheet released via social media, police said the officer is a 30-year-old Hispanic male with 4 years on the job. So we got to wait until they actually release the officer. North Miami police have said officers responded to a 911 call about an armed man threatening to commit suicide and opened fire after police attempted to negotiate. So you have a man who's threatening to commit suicide, but you think that he's pulling a gun out on somebody else. Very, very suspect, bizarre. You're real life Hollywood, guys. You can't make this stuff up. Ms. Kinsey did everything right. Let's be clear about that, Rivera said. He said that the police officer involved wishes nothing but the best for Mr. Kinsey, and the officer is praying for a speedy recovery as we are. The unidentified officer who has been placed on administrative leave issued a statement in the form of a text message, which Rivera read to reporters. I took this job to save lives and help people, according to the officer's text statement. I did what I had to do in a split second to accomplish that, and I hate to hear others paint me as something I'm not. So eventually we'll find out who this officer is. So why'd you shoot me? Kinsey told he was stunned by the shooting like a mosquito bites unexpectedly. When he hit me, I'm like, I still got my hands in there. I'm like, sir, why did you shoot me? He said to me, I don't know. And that's what everybody's going with. I don't know. Everybody's going with Kinsey's story. We haven't heard the whole story. But it sounded very bizarre, very fishy, sounded very, very much like a hoax, another controlled Psy-Op to push forth the agenda of Blue Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter, have more people protesting. Now that the Republican National Convention is over, we can go back to the protest. North Miami police have said officers had attempted to negotiate with the two men on the scene. Kinsey told him he tried to persuade. Now, here's another question. How come we can hear everything that Kinsey is saying on this video, but we can't hear anything that the officers are saying? It's the same scene, same camera. It's picking up voice, but it's picking up the voice of Kinsey, but it's not picking up the voice of anybody else. That's very, very odd. Kinsey told WSC he tried to persuade the police not to harm the patient. He asked the patient to still and lie down. Please be still, get down, lay on your stomach. Man was sliding rocks back and forth. I was more worried about him than me, said Kinsey. As long as I got my hands up there, they're not going to shoot me. That's what I'm thinking, he said. Wow, was I wrong? State takes over the investigation. The former Florida Department of Law Enforcement is investigating the shooting. Protesters flooded the North Miami Police Headquarters. And Kinsey's shooting comes off a pair of other officer shootings between Officer Sterling and Philando Castile going on in Dallas, Baton Rouge, Minneapolis. Still connecting these stories, continue to keep the rage up, continue to keep the protests going, continue to keep people fighting against one another. Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter. We got to continue to link these stories. So this is not supposed to happen. The U.S. Congressman, whose district includes North Miami, told reporters she was shot by Kinsey's shooting. This is not supposed to be happening in North Miami. So everybody's upset. We've got a melting pot. We're not accustomed to this tension that is evolving because of the shooting. We have to follow up and see how we can break the tension and find solutions, because this cannot happen again. All right, so let's go back to this video, guys. So again, up top, and this I'm just trying to, this is how I really just analyze this stuff. So we got a guy that's sitting up and a guy that's laying down. The cops is trying to hit this guy. They missed this guy totally by 3 shots in some kind of way to hit this guy laying on the ground. That's the story. And then it cuts off. And then we don't get the shot. We don't get the money shot. What we get is laying down on the ground and them handcuffing the guy. That's what we get. So now let's look at this. He's giving his explanation. And I'm going to show you something. He got shot in the right leg over here, right?
He's an autistic guy.
Let me see if I can get this shot.
He pleads with officers to back down and also tries to calm down his patient.
Come on. I want to get to the shot. I know it's back here somewhere. All right, let's go.
I got my hands in the air. I said, no, I just got shot. And I'm saying to this, I'm like, sir, why did you shoot me?
So he got shot in his right leg.
I don't know.
North Miami police say it all started when some...
Let's get this shot.
...decide Monday. But
I saw something very interesting in this.
Him than myself, because I'm looking at, as long as I got my hands up, they're not going to shoot me. This is what I'm thinking. They're not going to shoot me. Wow, was I wrong?
Charles says what police did after he was shot.
I think they got like 1, 2, 3 sets of handcuffs. They cuffs my...
Boom, look at that. All right, so we're going to see 3 different shots here.
They cuffs my...
You got hit in the right leg. No pain at all right now. We still haven't seen him wince at all. He's supposed to have a shot somewhere here on his right leg. Let's keep watching this, guys.
And he flipped me over.
Look at that. You see the movement? The movement in the chair. We flip over. We're flipping. No wincing from this pain that's coming from this right leg where he's supposed to have gotten shot.
I'm laying on the concrete.
Oh, look at that. Now he's bending over to the left. And again, no wincing on the pain from which comes from this right. Have you ever got shot before? You probably haven't. I don't know if you have or not. But there's going to be some extreme pain that's going on. And we see that he's moving around very easily with supposedly having gotten shot in the right leg.
Like this right here.
You see this? We can't make this up. This is what we call a crisis actor that's putting on a good show, but he's not doing a very good job of it. He's moving around a little bit too much for someone that just got. Look at this. Now he touches his injury right here. He touches his injury. Let me see if I can. He touches his injury here, and still no wincing that you'll see from his face.
Day in
and that's where you got shot.
Helping the disabled.
And so these actors, you know, it's their time to shine in the spotlight. But you know, for someone that just got shot in the leg, shot. And, you know, if somebody got shot in the leg, that is not how it goes. Now, I saw something else that I thought was interesting as well. Let's go to this other video, and then I'll talk about a couple more things, and we'll wrap this up. He supposedly was a part of a he was supposedly part of this thing called the Circle of Brotherhood.
Another confrontation.
Let's see here. I don't want to see none of that. I want to get to the end. All right. So I thought this was interesting. This is Chief Eugene Gary. Okay, I'm going to try to get a couple more of these things. I'll just let it play.
Filling the lobby after this video went viral, capturing the moments before an unarmed man.
All right, so he was supposedly part of this group called the Circle of Brotherhood. And what I found interesting with the Circle of Brotherhood, man, I don't want to see none of this. I want to get to the Circle of Brotherhood. Anyway, I'll talk about the Circle of Brotherhood. Just look up Circle of Brotherhood. But I found this interesting. I don't know if this is a stretch here, but I found it to be interesting. This chief here, Chief Gary Eugene, we got a black chief of police. And then I was like, wow, where else have we seen this? Well, we saw the black chief of police in Dallas, and we also saw the black sheriff who was another, part of this Orlando thing in Orange County. They're linking some of this stuff together as well. I didn't see it in Baton Rouge, but it reminded me of this chief of police here, and then also of the Orlando chief having another African American that's in power, that's part of the blue. Again, we're talking about Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter. So they got some African Americans in the blue constituency, so it won't appear that it's all white people that are shooting black people. All right, now, so the Circle of Brotherhood, he's a part of this group called Circle of Brotherhood, which is an organization that goes forth and promotes, a few things in the Miami area. I found it interesting that they haven't had any. I looked at their Facebook page. They haven't had any activity on their Facebook page since May 23rd of 2014. I looked on their YouTube where they have some YouTube stuff, and they haven't had any activity in a year, but it seems like they're still doing stuff in the community. And one of the things that they were against was gun violence. which is great. But they're against gun violence, and they have some things called Employ Save Our Sons. But they haven't really been active as far as from a social standpoint. 2 years ago was this against gun violence, and a year ago was this Save Our Sons, and they haven't been active on their YouTube channel in over a year. But they mentioned them as a Circle of Brotherhood, that Kinsey is a part of the Circle of Brotherhood. And I wonder, how much other stuff they've been doing that maybe they haven't televised in the Miami area. But it looks like they're going to get a little bit more publicity now that, maybe a little bit more help as well, funding, things like that, now that Kinsey has been the sacrificial lamb. All right, and then one other thing is, I think that was it. I looked up Napoleon, but I don't have anything on him. So getting back to the Kinsey shooting, again, what we see in the video is, one, we don't see any shots. We missed the money shot where he actually got shot, and we didn't get that on film, unfortunately. It seems like all of these, controlled Psy-Ops, we never actually get the actual shot. Now, this is a clear shot for the bystander who was filming, but for some reason, the video gets cut off, and we come back into the picture after he's laying on the ground. So that leaves a lot of room for interpretation of what happened. And of course, us as individuals, it's only natural for us to picture in our mind what happened, but it's not actually true. We don't know what's the truth because we didn't see it. We can only theorize what's the truth. We also saw that as Kinsey was laying in the hospital bed doing his cameo, doing his conference with CNN or whoever he was doing it with, he was moving around rather freely for someone who's got shot in the leg. He actually tapped himself where he got shot. No wincing, no pain that went over. He turned over a couple of times as well. Made some movements that you wouldn't think that you'll be able to move without some pain if you actually got shot in the leg. So your conspiracy brother, is saying that this is another controlled psyop. It's a hoax. It is not real. This is another psyop that's put forth to move the agenda of more division, to get everybody riled back up after everything that happened last week and the week before with the cops dying and with Black people dying. We're still of the agenda of the conflict of Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter. And ultimately, as we continue to divide, they continue to conquer with their laws that they'll pass. And then ultimately, we're looking at getting to a place where we might be in a state of emergency. And then ultimately, the big agenda is martial law. So at any rate, I'm always looking for truth, guys. If you got anything to add? Of course, I'm not saying I'm 100% correct. I am your conspiracy brother, but I don't see this as being a real event that took place. Just more fuel to add to the fire to get more people riled up all over the country, especially in major cities. So at any rate, this is your conspiracy brother, ERGJ, looking for truth. You got anything, please add, like, share, watch the video, and then make sure that you continue to have childlike curiosity. It's your curiosity that's going to lead you to truth, and it's the truth that's going to set you free.